Justice League had a lot of really mature storylines that explored the psychology of its characters, the nature of paranoia, how power changes people over time. But there's one theme that left the deepest impression on me as a little kid. A character in a storyline I've been avoiding because it's literally about the meaning of life.
Something changing your mind.
What the devil?
After getting beaten up by the Justice League, Lex desperately looks for Professor Ivo. However, his body is laid under a bedsheet, and a terrifying figure walks out to tuck him back in.
When will Professor come back?
Never.
He has to.
Lex then takes advantage of this android's innocence. Amazo's original appearance in Tabula Rasa has two sides. The first is the fairy tale one. A metaphorical child is cared for by a controlling parent in safety.
It's about a young man whose dream was to build a great empire. He succeeded. He lost it all because of 7 very bad people.
The child then gets a taste of knowledge and then begins to disobey their parent with questions that unravel the comfortable world handed to them.
Why?
Because I'm telling you.
That's not good enough anymore.
Amazo can duplicate the powers of whatever he sees, and when he does so with the Justice League, he adopts parts of their personality too, which begins to take away his innocence and gullibility, which is exhibited when he hits on Mercy, like the Flash would.
She's way more than okay.
As a result, the exposure to new people and an outside world builds Amazo's ability to independently think for himself and demand more answers from his parents. The ultimate act of taking what is forbidden is then reading Lex's mind. He was duped the whole time. Thus, paradise is gone. So Amazo leaves with his own ideas and wants.
Where's he going?
Where gods belong.
Through the lens of the metaphor, Amazo's story is themed around puberty. His body's changing, he's drawn to following his curiosity, he only sticks around in order to fulfill a responsibility to his parents.
I'll do it for you. I'll do it.
But he feels frustrated by the inconsistencies of his parents, and he takes those feelings to become someone different, to develop his own self-concept, emotions, and internal thoughts. However, the sense of intimacy that is present in this reading is contradicted by the second theme that exists. Amazo is an omnipotent outsider who is judging humanity at a distance. This is also thematically highlighted by Jean's subplot in this two-parter, where during his mind search for Lex, he ends up retreating from humanity after hearing so many complaints and emotions that people carry. Faith in humanity is a difficult thing, so building a morality in accordance with what humanity can be feels directionless. However, Jean's faith is renewed when he experiences the people coming together to find a lost little girl. Amazo exists on the other end, where he starts out naive and full of love, but this is taken by his experience with Lex. As a bold man explains,
He's going to do what I want out of love, not fear. But unfortunately, love seldom lasts forever.
we paradoxically relate with Amazo, but we're also held at a distance, understanding that we are ants, and he's a god. Therefore, the fact that we understand this disappointment makes it terrifying, because by the end, everything else is beyond our comprehension. Amazo duplicates the secret powers of the cosmos and leaves. How much did his innocence remain? How much cynicism has he accrued? What will his search for knowledge lead him to? And can he use his powers to duplicate hair? We can only approximate an answer as Amazo continues to evolve from child to teenager to adulthood. What kind of being would he be? What's really clever about Amazo's return and The Return is that the entire episode is a meditation on paranoia. There's an unidentified object flying towards Oa.
Holy mother!
The heroes set up 3 defenses: the space, the skies, and the ground. Lex and Adam uses the previously confiscated Amazo blueprints to find a weakness. Where Ray is hopeful and likable, Lex is rude and ungrateful of his protection. Therefore, their pairing consistently reminds us of how undeserving he is of help.
We'll beat him, Lex.
However, within the margin of all the fighting, another story is being told. The League's defense fails one by one, so they escalate, leading to the consideration of blowing up half the planet. Dr. Fate questions if this is necessary because there's another answer. We put our faith into Lex Luthor. This is when the twist happens.
You have everything humans desire. Wealth, power. Yet you crave more, and you'll do anything to get it. Why? What is your ultimate purpose?
What you're really asking is, what is yours?
The structure of this episode is an inverse of Tabula Rasa, where we actually rejoin Amazo's perspective, rejoin the parent and the child, in order to find an answer for something understandably human and small. Amazo is like a young man who's come home after he's finished his education and is paralyzed by choice. What should he do with his life? A transition I'm sure a lot of us experienced when we entered our 20s, where you have to really ask yourself, more education? What subject? What job? What career? How do you know what the right thing is when there's always other options? Or maybe there's no options? Do you compromise? What are you willing to compromise? These questions can go on to create a black hole of insecurity that can be paralyzing, especially when you're inexperienced and every small action feels like the definitive one. Amazo is arriving into his adulthood with knowledge but no direction.
Yes, I'm evolving. That's why Professor Ivo made me. These past months, I have amassed so much knowledge, and yet I remain confused, empty. What am I evolving into? What is my purpose? I must know. Tell me!
What Amazo and Lex arrive at initially is that his immortality means his only meaningful purpose is to be a viewer.
Is that my purpose? Simply to be a witness?
A paradoxical existence which doesn't satisfy Amazo because it's a passive position. However, Lex Luthor, the most selfish man who only cares about himself and has accomplished basically everything, sincerely argues it's not. He can never beat death. If we're seeing where everything goes just for a few more generations, that's a great privilege.
For all I've accomplished, in just a few short generations, my name will be forgotten.
It's not trivial. What Lex does is clarify and put into language all that Amazo has been thinking of, and where Amazo was unsuccessful in finding a conclusion, Lex effectively tells him to not give up and keep searching, because that is the purpose of life. It begins within, and then it goes outwards, for better or worse.
We create our own purpose in life. Now go create yours.
One which Dr. Fate volunteers to help him with. There's a great quote by, yes of course, Joseph Campbell. I know, it's how trite of me. If you can see your path laid out in front of you, step by step, you know it's not your path, your own path. You make with every step you take. That's why it's your path. I hope this is a real quote because I don't trust these pictures anymore. But what about Justice League Infinity, you may ask? A miniseries written by J.M. DeMatteis and James Tucker that follows JLU. After Amazo ran away like a little bitch from Solomon Grundy in his only appearance after return, he actually never came back. He continued his search, becoming lonelier. This is where his counterpart comes in. Amazo too, from a parallel reality. He absorbed the anti-life equation, and since the equation is actually a living entity, it took control. So they consume their universe and is now looking for more. And behind the mirrored room is the multiverse. Locked from the other side is one confused Amazo. All creation is a mere reflection of the self, or perhaps the truths beyond your comprehension. No, android, I invite you to explore the mysteries of your own soul. Amazo breaks down just from hearing Amazo 2's voice, because it vibrates across his soul, but he knows he doesn't have one. So he smashes the mirror. This comic develops what came before by exploring how going deeper within ourselves is the key to understanding the vastness of everything, which is used very cleverly to tie up a bunch of loose ends from the show in a really beautiful way. Shaira and Jean, Jean's loneliness and disenchantment of life, Bruce and Diana. When the heroes fail and reality is erased, all apart from Jon Stewart's little bubble, they must release the life equation. Wonder Woman can't do it by herself, so Batman, out of love and impulse, takes her hand, and they rebirth the universe as Amazo takes the final blow. We close on this epiphany where Diana believes the universe is always orientated towards the greater good. Batman argues reality contradicts that. However, she reminds him of what they just shared. Reality has many levels to it. Batman beautifully closes the comic by saying it had all started with an android seeking purpose, a deeper meaning to his existence, something I think we can all relate to, and I couldn't help but wish Amazo finds what he's looking for, because if there's hope for him, there's hope for us all. Amazo discovered his heart from this experience, and he shares it with Amazo too after he's been cured. so then he can find his. Now come, let us join our hearts together and discover what wonders await across the vast and sacred universes. Loyalty filled with a desire to be protected, skepticism, rejection of the given life for the search of something more, but after the search there's nothing. These are the steps of Amazo's story, stripped from the cosmic presentation. I always thought the character's journey felt massive as a kid, but there's something simpler deep down inside it. Self-actualization. When basic needs are met, like food, safety, belongingness, and security, we're ready to pursue our deepest desires, become our truest selves. As Abraham Maslow argued, a self-actualizing person is happy, serene, self-accepting, unguilty, and at peace with himself, only when he is fulfilling himself and becoming what he can be. Also, yes, I know, Maslow's hierarchy of needs and his definition of self-actualization is popular, but not exactly empirically based. I'm referring to it more as an analytical tool than presenting a psychology-based argument. Amazo this whole time is about the search for self-actualization, a study of someone who doesn't concern himself with any basic part of life, and can go anywhere. But the unmarked territory that's the hardest to explore, that's the inside. And he finds his purpose by guiding someone just like him. A completed soul can only be found through us empathizing with others. Without it,
None of you has anything to offer me now.
we have no purpose. Our purpose was staring us right in the face this whole time.
I can help you on your journey, in your search for meaning.
Help me? Why?
Because that is my purpose.
I am so confused right now, baby. Didn't work for us, didn't work for us. And I guess it's over now, baby. Didn't work for us, didn't work for us.
So I've actually been delaying this video for ages, and I couldn't really find the right way to approach it until I realized I should just do everything, both Tabula Rasa and Return, and then Justice League Infinity, which was supposed to be just sort of a throwaway paragraph, but I loved rereading it so much that I ended up actually giving it its entire section, and that shaped the entire conclusion. Anyways, because this video kept ballooning, it was both really satisfying to make and really annoying at the same time. Unfortunately, the same thing is also happening with my Batman Gotham by Gaslight video, because I'm going through the comics and the film, since it's not a straight adaptation. So that's gonna end up being more like a franchise retrospective. Anyways, I decided to go against making this video with a main focus on academia, because I like the idea of just sort of letting the character and his journey speak for itself, and then arrive at the more academic clarifications naturally at the end. Anyways, special thanks to everyone on Patreon. I now have another big video that I'm working on, this fucking Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated one. Oh my god, it's a real pain. But it's a lot of fun. It's about like nostalgia academia.